Thank you so much for tuning in to Living in the Brandywine Valley. I'm your host, Shannon Diiorio, and today I'm talking about the top 5 requested places to live in the Brandywine Valley area. And when I say the top 5 requested areas, I'm speaking just personal experience in working with buyers and where they're requesting to live. So I'll talk about a little bit about the area, what's the draw, why do people want to move there, and what are the median sale prices, how difficult is it to buy a home in these areas. And then I'll kind of talk a little bit about where can you go if you can't quite afford that area, but you want to be close to it or have something similar. So I'll run through all 5. We've got some in Delaware County, some in Chester County, and some in Newcastle County. The number 1 requested area that I get is Media, which is located in Delaware County. It is the county seat. And there's a lot happening in Media. There's a lot of restaurants, there's some cute little boutique shops, there's bookstores, there's a record store, there's coffee shops, multiple coffee shops. There's pretty much everything you can think of. And it's a very walkable area. A lot of nightlife, spring through fall. There's dining under the stars on Wednesday evenings. There's Rose Tree Park has live concerts, free concerts throughout the summer. So there's just a big draw to the area, also due to its access to major highways. So easy access to 476. You can get to Philadelphia very quickly. You've got access to the trolley. So there's lots of public transportation options, lots of nightlife, plenty of restaurants and other amenities around. So that's the big draw to the area. The median sale price in the entire Media zip code, the median sale price is $635,000. Average days on the market, 7. And properties are selling on average above asking price. So that's on average. They're selling for about 1% above asking price, but some of them as high as 30% above asking price. So it is a very competitive area. There's not a lot of homes available for sale, and you're going to be in competition if you're looking in that area. And it's expensive, right? It's kind of expensive to live there. That's a higher price range. So what can you do if you maybe can't really afford to be in Media? Well, there's lots of areas surrounding Media. So there's Wallingford and Swarthmore, which are maybe even more expensive to live in and still very close proximity to Media. But then there's also areas like Aston, like Springfield, personally in Brookhaven, where for a single family home, the median sale price is about $375 and the taxes are typically under $5,000. And it's a pretty walkable town. I'm about 3.5 miles from Trader Joe's, which is in downtown Media, but I can, in my own town of Brookhaven, I can walk to the gym or jog to the gym, get my workout in, then walk across the parking lot to Starbucks, walk home, walk to the post office, walk to an awesome little deli. So there's plenty of areas surrounding Media. That's still a very short drive into Media where you can still enjoy that nightlife. You can still enjoy the coffee shops. You can still enjoy, they've got craft festivals and music festivals and all kinds of, especially in the summertime, all kinds of entertainment. But there's parades year round. So lots of areas. You can even go into Ridley, up and down the McDade and Chester Pike corridor. You're still about 15 minutes from Media. And then there's other little amenities and walkable areas in those little towns as well. So whether you can afford to be inside of Media or on the outskirts, you can really enjoy it just as much. The second most requested area I'm going to talk about is Westchester. So Westchester Borough, it's a big college town and super walkable area. It's kind of like Media on steroids where it's just a much bigger area. Lots and lots of restaurants. Again, parades year round, tons of festivals, lots of entertainment, plenty to enjoy, and just very, very walkable. So it's a very highly desirable area for those reasons. The average or the median sale price is about $625,000, and properties are on the market for typically less than 1 week and for selling more than asking price, sometimes as high as 50% over asking price. So it's another area that's very difficult to get into, and it's expensive. So what can you do if you can't afford that? Well, you can consider townhomes, right? That's one way to do it. And just think about the outskirts of Westchester. So there's plenty of other boroughs and townships surrounding Westchester, such as West Goshen, East Goshen. You could even go into Willistown Township or Thornbury Township. Some of these areas are on the higher side as well. But again, you can always consider a condo or a townhome if you really want to be in the area but aren't able to afford those prices. So you do have some options there. The third area I'll talk about is North Wilmington. So when I say North Wilmington, that's typically referring to areas north of the city of Wilmington, and it does include a pretty large area. If you've been following the channel, you'll know from a previous video that the property taxes in Delaware are typically very low. So one of the major draws to the area is, especially in North Wilmington, you're still very close to the state line. You're still pretty close to Philadelphia. You're also close to the city of Wilmington. So I've helped some couples where one works in Philadelphia, one works in the city of Wilmington. North Wilmington, Brandywine area is a great place to consider. And you've got the low property taxes, so you can typically afford more house. In addition to that, there's such a strong sense of community. So North Wilmington is made up of lots of little communities. They're walkable in the sense that there's sidewalks, so you can get out, ride your bike, go for a walk your dog. But you're typically going to be more reliant on having a vehicle to get around to stores, and it's typically not as walkable in that sense. But still a very sought after area for the sense of community, access to major roadways, tax-free shopping, and the low property taxes. So where can you go if you can't afford North Wilmington? Well, the median sale price in North Wilmington is actually not that bad. It's in the low 400s. Properties are on the market for typically a week or less, and many of them, depending on where you are still selling for over asking, so you need to be prepared to compete. But there are definitely some affordable areas. You can also consider townhomes. Lots of options there. A vast array of price ranges available in North Wilmington. The fourth area is Chadds Ford. I'm going to combine some areas: Chadds Ford, Garnet Valley, and Glen Mills. So all kind of located right at that 202 and Route 1 intersection. That's a very highly sought after area. For some people, it's the age of the homes. So the area most of it was built up a little bit later than some of the surrounding areas. So the homes can tend to be a little bit newer. And you tend to get more property, so larger lots. And a lot of the draw just has to do with proximity as well. So proximity to major roadways, still easy access to the city, but you're a little bit farther out, more of that suburban feel. So I get a lot of requests for the area, but it's quite expensive. The median sale price is right around $700,000. Again, properties are typically on the market for a week or less and sell over asking almost always. So very competitive, can be tough to get in. What can you do if you can't afford to get into these areas? Well, again, you can consider a condo or a townhome. Those are available. They come with fees, but we'll factor that in and figure out what your affordability is. Or you can consider some of the surrounding areas like Chichester, Aston. These butt up to some of these areas and tend to be a little bit cheaper in terms of the sale prices and also the property taxes. But you can still get some of those larger lots in these areas if that's something you're looking for. So there are options. Number 5 on the list for today is Downingtown. I get a lot of buyers that ask to move to the Downingtown area because of the nightlife, the small town charm, more of a relaxed pace. It's a little bit further out from the major cities. So if that's something that you're after, Downingtown can be a great option. You tend to get a little bit more land in Downingtown while having that small town feel. And there's plenty of restaurant options in Downingtown as well. The median sale price in Downingtown tends to be around $550. And again, properties are on the market for a week or less in today's market and frequently selling for over asking. So it's another very competitive area, highly sought after. So if that's something where you like the sound of the area, but you're not really ready to commit to a $550 sale price and to have to compete with multiple buyers, where can you go? Well, southern Chester County tends to be similar in some ways. There's the Kennett Square area that's got that small town charm. Lots of very unique boutiques and restaurants. So the surrounding Kennett area, even going further into southern Chester County, into West Grove area or Landenberg, or even into Oxford. So if you're willing to go a little further out from the city, you can tend to get a little bit more house for the money, or be able to save a little bit of money that way and still get some of that same feel, and not too far from Downingtown. Get to Kennett in minutes, get to Westchester in minutes, get to Downingtown in minutes. You can even get to Wilmington in minutes. So another great place to consider. And southern Chester County does tend to be one of the fastest growing areas in terms of new construction. So that's where there's land available for builders to purchase and build these new developments. So I tend to see the most new construction activity in both southern Chester County, and then also going down further into Newcastle County, like Middletown, Delaware, Clayton, Delaware, Townsend, Delaware, and then even further, Kent County, Smyrna, Delaware. I'm seeing a lot of activity down there as well. So if you're willing to go further out from the city, you can get more land, more house for the money, but you're gonna have less options of public transportation, and obviously you might just be a little bit further away from some of the amenities, but some of these towns have their own amazing nightlife and restaurants and amenities as well. So if you're interested in exploring what areas you might be able to afford, what might be the best for your budget, feel free to reach out. I'm quite familiar with the areas in the Brandywine Valley, and I would love to help.